coming onto the bowl, and Harrington obviously learning his trade at this stage and not prepared to stay out there for another 33 laps without having the problem rectified.
Moffat, of course, won the first round and the last round, Calder and Wanneroo, and he has taken lap records at Sandown, Symonds Plains and Wanneroo. The outright touring car lap record at each of those circuits, as Moffat presses Grice, lies to that man in car 43, probing his way on a Commodore, which in the first 3 rounds was more than the equal of Peter Brock, but is not that at this moment today.
Brock extends his lead to 2.06 seconds.
John White, car 65, about to be lapped by Brock. The car sort of 8 seconds slower than Brock's best practice time. Good stuff, great pressure from Moffat, who knows the value of doing that, particularly after last weekend when Peter Brock just went too deep and too late, braking at the tight switchback corner at the top of the hill at Wanneroo and spun. And on the other hand, Fury knows the benefit too of sitting in behind a person as experienced in touring cars as Alan Moffat.
Now Moffat up alongside Grice.
Brock, you saw him get onto the picks there as the car
and it's Moffat
down a bit.
Grice re-challenging. Oh, touched him.
Hey,
Moffat all over the track.
And Grice,
And here comes Cheeky Fury looking for a way through.
Grice getting ready to do a real pedal bending argument here. And you saw some determination there, particularly the car in front has little to lose. He knows he'd be worse off at the end than the car he's battling against. And I don't think if Alan Moffat wants to play rough, and I'm not suggesting he was, but if he wanted to continue that, then I think Alan Grice would be very happy to do so.
1/4 distance now for Peter Brock, 10 laps down, 30 remaining. As Alan Moffat again ranges alongside Grice down the chute. And this time under brakes it'll be the same thing again.
Fury was saying he was actually laughing for about 2 or 3 laps at Wanneroo as he watched Brock and Moffat wring each other's necks. And the persistent Alan Grice, about 1 minute later, reckons he's just about solved the problem of Alan Grice. And George Fury now starts to think about his dealing with Grice. There's the twice Australian rally champion with only 2 years in road racing, and what a tremendous job he's done. And so too is his mentor Howard Marsden, who runs the Nissan team. Peter Brock running down the straight and being watched very keenly in the pit by his pit manager John Harvey, himself a winner of numerous Australian titles, and who will be signalling to him throughout this stage and helping him decide tactics. Here he is with Drew Morford.
Well, a very interested John Harvey. Gee, Peter got a great start, didn't he?
Well, that was an exceptionally good start, probably one of the best he's done.
Now, he hasn't gone too well this year. 2 failed to finish. Why all of a sudden he improved?
Well, we, after the Symonds Plains race, spent a lot of time developing and testing the car at Calder, knowing that we had both Perth and Adelaide to do, a long way away from home base, and that's obviously paid off because the car's performing very well.
Is there a plan today, or is it just get out in front and keep going?
Well, the plan is to stay out in front as long as he can. The biggest problem that faces us, as faces other Commodore or even Falcon drivers, is the fact that the rear tyre performance will deteriorate as the race progresses. The plan was to build up as big a lead as possible early in the race, if that was possible. It's worked out that way, and I see now that Alan Grice and Alan Moffat are having a dice, which is probably slowing Alan Moffat up somewhat and allowing us to gain a bit of ground. So at this point in the race, it's worked out fine for us. We just hope we can make it to the end.
Brock is in 9th place in the Australian Touring Car Championship on 32 points. George Fury leads on 99, and behind in 2nd place we can see that Alan Grice has taken back 2nd place from Alan Moffat, with George Fury still in 4th position.
Well done, a smoky Alan Grice, whose future in the race may not be very long, as he just puffed a bit of smoke there as he got on the gas for the reverse camber. Peter Brock with some curious signals to his hit that we couldn't work out. On the previous lap, he lapped at the same time. Manson's car, number 48, Roger Manson, Jeff Manson, for a 2nd time, which really doesn't make sense.
4.53 seconds the gap. Peter Brock back to this scrapping trio for 2nd position, and certainly, as John Harvey said, this dice is slowing these 3 drivers up and giving Peter Brock the break he needs, so desperately needs, to be able to win a round of the Australian Touring Car Championship.
Fury's starting to be alarmed by it too. He doesn't want to finish 4th. That's been his worst result in the championship so far at Sandown. But he had a 2nd at Calder, a 3rd at Symmons Plains, and then at Wanneroo, a 2nd. 0.5 of a second blanket these 3 cars.
Brock opens his lead to 5.16 seconds, 0.6 of a second on that lap, as now Moffat slingshots off the bowl, and this slower car, the Andrew Harris car in front of the Ford Falcon, could be a deciding factor in the braking area.
Which Grice realises that he's edging his way to the right. But Moffat's got him, and he won that argument well. Grice was all ready to turn hard right in front of him, and suddenly realised it would have been disastrous. Andrew Harris. Big Falcon, the ex-Alan Jones car, travelling fairly slowly. Grice goes low on the banking, Moffat stays high, and Grice made some ground as he did so. But whether he can translate that as the gap over these 3 splits to 1.2 now. That's the race order, with Fury 4th. Range of gauges in George Fury's car, which locks a left rear there, but Grice can't tag Moffat any longer, so Fury will start to think about it.
And Moffat starts to pull back Brock now from 5.16 2 laps ago. The gap is down to 4.79.
Yes, the gauges in Fury's car. He has differential engine and transmission temperature gauges, exhaust gas temperature, which is quite critical in the car, and believe it or not, that gauge will read to over 1,000 degrees Celsius, with 960 being the critical quantity. If it gets to that level, then Fury has either to slow or to richen the mixture up slightly. He's got the ability to do that with a knob in